Dance with me.
Welcome to Read My Lips Radio, a lively hour of unscripted conversations with savvy creatives. Producer and host, akaRadioRed, asks novelists, artists, photographers, designers, comedians, actors, musicians, composers, screenwriters, directors, and technology innovators about their creative passion, inspirational muses, and how they create. Ooh, how those lips can talk. Now, here's akaRadioRed.
Radio Red is in the house. Let's stop the music and tell the orchestra, go take a break. We'll pick you up at the end of the show. I'm akaRadioRed, very happy to be here. Where else would I be on a Monday night? Now, seriously, how many years have I been doing this? I can't make any other plans. This is my calling. Here we are. This is my joy to come and talk to creative people. And people say to me, oh, I'm not an artist. I'm not a dancer. I'm not a singer. I'm not an architect. I'm not a chef. I'm not creative. Yes, you are. Do you design how you live, how you look, how you talk, how you walk, everything you do? You've created your life. I didn't pop out of my mom with a handbook, although a lot of people think that we should, but not here. So you are a creative, whether you know it or not. And I actually have some guests I meet at the National Publicity Summit or through other opportunities, as Laura knows. And they say to me, nobody ever called me creative before. Everybody's called Laura creative, but she's the exception. So I just want to do a couple of shout outs before we get started. Everybody make the letter L with your hand. I don't care which side you are, right or left. We're not doing politics, sorry. Which hand? L. On the count of three, you're going to join me in saying hello, L, L, L. Just like that. Just like that. 1, 2, 3. Hello, L, L, L. Jordan, my engineer, put them down. They're tied for first place. That was one of the best. We didn't even rehearse it. Don and Laura and Cynthia, you have just amazed me. Why do I care? Because LLL is a lady named Lovely Lanky Laura Legs, Leggzz. It's not her legal name, Cynthia, but that's what she is. She's tall, she's lanky, and I met her in a dance class years ago. We've stayed friends. And she is living in Whitestone, New York. Laura, I've tried to get her to move to a place that starts with L. I tried Louisiana. I tried Lakeville. I tried Lancaster. I tried Lancaster. She didn't want to move. So I moved to Loudon, Tennessee, and I said, LLL, come on. She said, no, I'm staying in Whitestone. So it's LLL living in W. But I want to tell you, at 6:01 p.m., I will get an email. And she will tell me, Don, what you said. And she will tell me, Laura, what you said. And she will tell me, Cynthia, it's like a little book report. And she'll say, hello, beautiful, gorgeous lady of red. I loved your show. And here's what Laura said, and here's what Don said, and here's what Cynthia said. So be careful. Just mind your P's and Q's. There we go. So now let's see, where are we? My goodness gracious. It's August 25th. Hard to believe Labor Day is next week, and I won't be here. It's the 237th day of 2025. It's the Gregorian calendar. Now, Cynthia, I have breaking news. Long ago and far away, we had the Julian calendar. And Julian forgot to figure out that there were a couple of days in October that people wanted to celebrate birthdays. So he had this strange calendar that missed the first 2 weeks of October. And along came Gregorian. I don't know if it's before he became a pope or not. And he said, I have to fix that. I don't know what his voice sounded like, but I'm making it up. And he said, I'm going to go to a every fourth year leap year. And I'm going to add one day, and we're going to align the calendar with the moon and the tides. And all the October people got their birthdays back, including me. No, I was the first week. Those was the second week. So thank you to Gregorian. I want to appreciate that. There are 128 days left to the year. They're already advertising Halloween stuff in the stores. Please stop. It's only August. And it's the 34th Monday, and nobody cares about that. Is anybody a Virgo? Anybody born between August 23rd and September 22nd here? No? Okay. Well, I just want you to know that the maiden of Virgo holds wisdom with the harvest in her hand, symbol of purity guiding the land. So if you want to be Don, if you want to be a virginal maiden like Virgo, we can make you an honorary Virgo. Okay, quickly, couple of celebrity birthdays. Gene Simmons from Kiss. He's 76 today. Wow. Tim Burton, Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, the filmmaker. He's 67. Billy Ray Cyrus. Oh, my achy breaky heart. He's 64. And Rachel Ray, the lovely TV chef, is 57 years old. We'll say shout out to them. It's also, today is National Kiss and Makeup Day. So Don, if you had a battle with anybody afterwards, You can make up. I can't tell you whether to kiss them or not. It's Whiskey Sour Day, Laura. That might be something. I know. It's spelled two ways. If it's spelled EY, it's Tennessee. If it's spelled Y, it's from somewhere else. Or one is Ireland and one is Scotland. I forget. It's Banana Split Day. That's more my style. It's Secondhand Wardrobe Day. I bought this beautiful sparkly thing at a garage sale about 20 years ago. And it's Gravy Wrestling Championship Day. Do not even ask, but it's a real thing. And they wrestle in a pool full of gravy and they wear costumes and they win prizes. And it's a real thing. I know. So I'm going to read my opening. And when I call your name, and Don, do me a favor, pronounce your last name for me, darling. I didn't ask. Say it.
Eggspuehler.
Eggspuehler, just the way it's spelled. Thank you. When I get to you, Cynthia and Laura, I can handle your name. So, okay, here we go. Welcome to Read My Lips, where soft sparks ignite cool conversations with creatives glowing bright. akaRadioRed takes flight on her Scarlett Mic stream, inviting you, the voices who carry each dream. Laura Doman, Don Eggspuehler, Cynthia Ward, all so wise, sharing moments where insight and magic arise. No blah blah or babble babble, just conversations and play. So tune in, lean close. We're sending creativity your way. Here we go, Laura. From Cleveland's heart, where Lake Erie gleams, Laura was born with spotlight dreams. Theater and choir lit her school years so bright, yet business degrees soon took Laura's flight. In high-tech sales, she won with flair. Fortune 500 clients were everywhere. But the call of the stage, Laura, refused to rest, so Laura trained to perform her best. From drama to comedy to voiceover art, her talent shines in each fresh part. Her snappy momism, she'll tell us about those later, quip truth in a rhyme, like I'm doing now. Laura sparks wisdom in just 4 seconds time. I hope you like that, Laura.
I love it. You're amazing.
I'm glad. Okay, Don, you're up. From Iowa Falls, where small town roots grow, to Marine Corps skies where A6 jets flew low, Don promised his mom he would write every day. His letters from Vietnam kept her worries at bay. Don's life stories grew into books, 5 in all, of childhood adventures and duty's call. Life lessons from school, 2 parts to explore, and teachings from Pop, preserving hometown lore. 3 decades in business training software Don has led, with golf, with travel, with cameras his memories spread. Through love, through loss, and resilience so bright, Don Eggspuehler still shares life with humor and light. Don?
Wow, that was amazing. Absolutely.
That's my gift to you. And now, Cynthia, it's your turn. From Columbus, Ohio, where her singing took flight, Cynthia dreamed of the stage, the spotlight so bright. From grade school to church, she sang with pride, though Hollywood's call was a dream that was denied. Cynthia worked in retail, rose through the store, with ministry and with healthcare. She gave even more. A notary, an investor, an activist voice, helping children and seniors. She made the right choice. Author of Nation Divided, she stands strong today with love and support, always guiding Cynthia's way. Cynthia?
I love that. It's beautiful. Thank you.
I'm glad. And now I'll finish the opening. So gather round with a cool vibe sway as we dig deep into creativity today. akaRadioRed's energy lights the way. We hope to inspire you to live large, love life, and play. Okay, kids, how'd I do?
Amazing.
Great. Beautiful.
Those are my gifts to you, my rhyming intros. And I know that we didn't cover all of your life story because how could we do that in 10 or 12 lines? Seriously. So I'd like to give each of you about 2 minutes. We have a lot to cover today. I'd like to give each of you about 2 minutes to tell us, fill in the blanks, a couple of the dashes in there. Laura, I'm putting you on speaker view. You and I met. You did another show with me about 2 weeks ago, and we had a sudden opening on the show. I texted Laura, and I look at my clock, 45, 56, 62 seconds later, she texted, I'm in, put me down. So Laura joined, and I appreciate it very much. So Laura, I'm putting you on speaker view. Why don't you just tell us a little more about yourself, please, and welcome.
Well, thank you. And no surprise, I'm a born ham. So yeah, of course, I'm going to respond, yes. I am a corporate turned creative, as you heard in that beautiful rhyme. And what I have done later in life is just to reinvent myself to something I've always wanted to do. So I am now working as an actor in film, TV, commercials, corporate industrials, print, and I'm also doing voiceovers, anything from commercials to animations to website videos and tutorials, you name it. And then because I love to come full circle, I am also helping business owners get a lot better on camera themselves. Because especially if you're trying to get clients, you got to be interesting. Boring, it's going to keep you broke. But presence, when you know how to deliver and talk to the camera, that is going to get you paid. So I'm having a great time speaking and working with people in all different fields and helping them to also become rather comfortable on camera. And doing that, I build myself the shameless hussy of on-camera confidence. And we're redefining shameless hussy to be bold and no risk is too big. We're going for it because that's what the payoff is.
Absolutely. I think we owe you a little applause here. Here we go.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That's for the hussy part. That was just the hussy part. Okay, there we go.
I'm glad there's no cat call in there. Thank you.
No. In the wah-wah trombone, I won't play that one right now. But Laura, everybody wants to know 4-second momisms. Give us 2 examples, please.
Absolutely. The very first one I ever did, I'm a mom. I'm in the kitchen making a cake apron. And I look up from the beaters and say, a good mom will let you lick the beater. A great mom will turn it off first. Another one I did, I'm sitting in a big chair with a glass of wine or whiskey sour and just making an observation. Last night, my husband decided there was a cockroach in the kitchen and he cleaned the kitchen. So today I'm moving it to the living room.
Okay, I think we got that one. Thank you, Laura. That was lovely. I knew we would get to know a lot more of you, and we just did. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Sassy does, yeah.
There you go. Okay, Don, you're up next. I'm putting you on speaker view. Would you please tell us a little more about yourself and a little bit about your 5 books we want to know? Welcome, Don.
Well, thank you for having me, Red. As you mentioned in the poem, I grew up in a small town in Iowa, a little town called Iowa Falls, about 5,000 people, still is. And I grew up with the same kids all the way from kindergarten through high school. And that's really rare, to really stay in one place like that and get to know them and their families and so forth. I did go away to college at Ohio State University. And there I got my pilot's license and played in a rock band and did graduate. And I got drafted on the day I graduated from college. So I thought, well, maybe I can get into a flight program. I've got a degree, get into an officer program. And I did in the Marine Corps. My mom was really worried because Vietnam had been going on for like about 8 years at that point. And we worried all through high school and college about getting drafted. And so I did. I promised her I'd write her real regularly, and I did. And I came back from Vietnam kind of with a bitter taste in my mouth because our squadron lost 7 guys, and 2 other good buddies I was in flight school with that got shot down. So, I didn't really talk about it to anybody for years. And then I was up visiting my mom in Iowa about 6 years later, and she had cancer at the time. And I just asked her right then, I said, Mom, did you ever save any of those old letters? And she said, oh, yeah, saved them all. So I brought the letters back, and long story short, I made a book for her for Christmas with the best parts of each letter. And one of the best presents I ever gave her. So
how beautiful.
After that, she did pass away. So I just got the book out here about a year ago and published it because I thought it might help other Vietnam veterans or people that haven't been in the military. 35 years of computer software sales, and I'm retired, and I've been writing for the last 10 years and writing about my childhood and writing about my wife who had a battle with brain cancer and the history of my hometown. So in a nutshell, that's been my
Very
life.
cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. You are a prolific writer. I asked you for the titles and the synopsis of all of your books, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you and welcome. And now we go around the table. Last stop, it's Cynthia Ward. Cynthia, I met you at the National Publicity Summit, just like I met Don. I met Laura through another opportunity. And Cynthia, I'm going to put you on speaker view. And first, I have to ask, where are you? That blue wall with the white plant is just absolutely gorgeous. Where is that real or is this wallpaper?
Oh, no, this is real. And I'm at home. I'm in my little communications room and I'm enjoying you.
Oh, well, thank you very much, darling. I'm putting you on speaker view. Tell us a little more about yourself. Welcome, Cynthia.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm Cynthia Ward, and I am just elated to be here. I've never done anything like this. My life is doing something that I've never done. I've never wrote a book. I've never been on a video. I am just doing things that I've never done, and I'm enjoying my life. My life has been, I give a lot back. I give a lot to the church. I do a lot of community work. And when I went on Steve Harrison's, if that's okay to say, summit, they said, "Oh, you got to learn to brag about yourself." This was hard for me. So here I am on akaRadioRed. This is my first video and I'm enjoying the ride. Let me tell you.
I have, hold on. This that deserves, Cynthia, that's for you. And I have one more for you. Hold on. We got to do this. There we go. Somebody is gasping because she's so amazed. So you are an author. I know we're not talking politics, but you want to tell us a little about your singing and your writing? What did you write?
Yes, I wrote a book about Nation Divided. This was years ago. I was feeling a type of way where it just seemed like we were so divisive. And I wanted to write a book that was more uplifting than divisive. I don't get into all of the, kind of everybody being mad and have reasons. I'm like, let's talk about the things that bring us together instead of makes us separated. So that's why I wrote that. Singing is just a part of my life. I've been singing since I was 4, when I did the 12 Days of Christmas, and I was the palm tree and a pear tree. So I was always at the bottom. And so there I go. So that started my singing career.
Oh, that's right. You want to sing something for us? I don't know if can you sing a couple of bars of something?
Oh my gosh. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Oh, Cynthia, that was we gotta have more applause. You're cornering the applause market today, dear. You really are. Thank you. Thank you. I never know what I'm going to ask my guests on this show. I still call this radio. This is reality radio, kids. You never know what's going to happen. Now the sun is coming in through the slats of my blinds, and I'm just going to be striped for a little while. So just ignore that. Well, thank you for those bios. I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Show over. No, I'm only kidding. Let's go to the opening quotes. I ask you each to send me a quote from a fictional character in a movie or a TV show or a song lyric, and let's see what we have. Laura, you have sent us, let's see what you got here. Oh, this is a classic. I get it several times a year on all of my shows. Everybody loves this one. It's from Doc Emmett Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd. The movie, of course, Back to the Future, 1985. Really? That's 15 and 25, 40 years ago. Sci-fi comedy film franchise. There were 3 of them, written by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, blah, 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 for Steven Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment. It's the adventures of high school student Marty McFly, played by the wonderful, thankfully still with us, Michael J. Fox, eccentric scientist Dr. Emmett Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd, and in the film, school teacher Clara Clayton, played by Mary Bergen, I never know how she wants to say it, and using a DeLorean, that was me whistling, as a time machine to travel to different periods in the history of Hill Valley, California. I just want you to know, Laura, that in 2019, Empire magazine named Marty McFly the 12th greatest movie character of all time.
Really?
Yes. And this is considered one of the greatest sci-fi films ever, one of the best films ever made. Okay, and we'll leave it at that. And there are video games and theme park rides. Here's the quote Laura has selected from Doc Brown. Roads, where we're going, we won't need roads. We don't need roads. Okay, Laura, what does this have to do with your creativity? Talk to us.
Carve out your own path, because you don't need to have it mapped out for you. And if it's already out there, everybody else is doing it. You got to zig when others are zagging. And pioneers might get shot. They told us that in the software world. So yeah, Don, we have that in common. But you got to create it for yourself. And that's where you're going to have the freshness, the creativity. And that's where you're going to differentiate yourself.
Tell me how you created your own road that you didn't need. What was a pivotal point for you, Laura?
Oh my gosh, there have been a number of them.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just kind of I'll pick out two major turn points, because I've had like 3 careers. I always thought I would be going for the corner office in the software industry. I was heading that direction. And then I had my first baby. And I saw they were taking my entire pipeline away from me. I start all over, and there was a sweet little face looking up at me. And it's like, I never thought I'd be a stay-at-home mom. But I chucked what I was doing, and that's what I did while my kids were young. Not the easiest thing. And then the second pivotal moment was when I said, I have all that extra ambition and energy stocked up, and it hasn't been fulfilled. I stopped my career early on. And I decided I'm going to go back and I'm going to make my own career of my own choosing. And it's going to be in a creative field doing what I really want. And I don't care how difficult and how risky it is. I'm doing it because I figure when you're laying on your deathbed, the worst thing you'd have are regrets. And I'm not going to regret not trying, not doing, or being told, like I was when I was growing up, you can't do that. You're not going to make a living, blah, blah, blah. Do it.
Yep. Thank you. I'm not going to play the applause track again, but we know we're thinking of it for you. Thank you very much. You're only on your 3rd career. I think I'm on my 9th or 12th, but I know your life has been very rich. I think you've got a lot of branches in those 3 careers, Laura, where you've probably done 12 things in each one. So you're up to 36. I just renamed your, that's
Thank you
fine.
very much.
Okay, Don, I'm looking at your quote. You sent us another classic quote from prison camp warden boss, played by late, very interesting actor Strother Martin. And it's called The Captain's Speech. I don't know if you knew that, but it's actually been named in movie lore. Speaking to prisoner Luke Jackson, played by Paul Newman. Was there anybody handsomer or greater? Cool Hand Luke, 1967 prison drama film. And this line I'm about to read is number 11. We've got some real game changers here. Number 11 on the American Film Institute's list of 100 years, 100 movie quotes. It was that great. Directed by Stuart Rosenberg, starring Paul Newman and featuring George Kennedy, who won an Oscar for his performance. Newman plays Luke, a prisoner in a Florida prison camp who refuses to submit to the system. Okay. It's based on a novel from 1965 by somebody named Don Pierce. Here is the line. What we've got here is failure to communicate. Okay, Don, how'd you find that one, and what does it have to do with your creativity? Go ahead.
That was a great movie, and I just love Paul Newman, first of all, and George Kennedy was great as well. But it was simply a failure to communicate between the guards and the prisoners. And I think in my writing, most of my writing has been about my stories when I was a little kid or in the military or whatever. And it's just, I'm trying to put the reader there in the moment. That's my whole objective when I start putting down the original notes is how was I feeling or why was this important? And so forth. And I just think that makes storytelling a lot more real to a reader or even on an audiobook. It's, to hear the actual author tell his story. So again, I think that was what kind of spurred me along was a movie like that just really made an impression on me as a young man.
Very, very, very relevant. Thank you. And I did watch the clip. I keep the clips for when multiple guests over the course of the years of my different shows use movie quotes. I very often have the clip somewhere and I watched it, and it was a very powerful scene. Very, very strong. Yeah. But the way you're using it right now, Don, is very creative. So thank you very much. Very, very well done. I hadn't thought of that in the context of putting the reader into the story so that it's relevant and relatable. Relatable is a big word on social media right now. People have relatable videos, relatable skits, relatable whatever it is. It just, do I look like you? Do I sound like you? Is this something you want to do? Somebody you want to be? That's relatable. So thank you. Very, very well done. Cynthia, it's your turn. And Cynthia has picked a quote. We had to do a little research on this one, right? I did a little looking around, and it's from a song called The Happening, which is a movie theme that was sung by Diana Ross and the Supremes, recorded by them as the theme song from the 1967 Columbia picture film The Happening. The movie was a flop. Oh, wait a minute. I have something for that. Wait a minute. Let's see. Where's my wah-wah? Here we go. Okay, good. I had to use that, Cynthia, because I have it, so I may as well use it. No good sound effect goes to waste. So the movie was a flop, but the song went to number one on the Billboard Hot 100 pop singles, and it was the Supremes' 10th number 11 single in the US, and number 6 in the UK, and number 5 in Australia and in the Netherlands. I don't know where I got no, it was the top 10. Okay, there we go. Something like that. It was a hit. It was a big song. So here is the line from the song Cynthia has selected. Now I see life for what it is. It's not of dreams. It's not of bliss. It happened to me, and it can happen to you. That is a beautiful lyric, Cynthia. How did you find this one? I got the sun. I'm going to move back. I got the sun here. Punch the microphone, Red. That's the way to go. And Cynthia, I'm putting you back on speaker view. Tell us a little bit about how you found this. It's a beautiful quote. Go ahead.
Well, it really is. It meant so much to me when I first seen it, because I seen my life in that. Right now I am doing more than I've ever done in my life. And so I'm living a totally different life, unafraid and just on my own terms. If I like the movie, if I flop, I flop, but you can't say that I never tried to do it. So I'm moving in that. And I really believe that. I found that online, thinking about what are some songs that really mean something that I have done or what I dreamed about. And that was one of them. That's where I got that from.
That's absolutely lovely. Absolutely lovely. Thank you very much. As if the three of you couldn't tell, I love research. I really enjoy looking up the quotes and the movies, and I like all this trivia. I very often research much more than I read on the air because I'd just be sitting here reading this stuff all day long. So we won't do that. Well, thank you for the quotes, all of you. You've picked really, really interesting quotes, and that's what it's all about, a way to express through these quotes from well-known movies and songs who we are and what we're all about. So let's now go to the creativity statements. I'm going to pick, for starters, one from each of you, and I'm going to read it. You don't have to go find it. And Laura, I'm starting with one of yours. And then I would like to open it up for comment to Don and to Cynthia on what Laura shares with us. So here's the deal, Cynthia and Don. I don't want to have to call on you, well, since you've got anything to say. If you want to speak, wiggle one of your nice fingers. I don't know how many fingers you have on each hand. I've got 10 altogether. Wiggle one of the nice fingers. I don't relate to the middle one. We don't talk to people who do that on the show. I have my rule. Cynthia, I have my boundaries,
I understand.
Don, I know we're in the military, but play. He looks like a gentleman. Okay. I'm the green room warm-up comedian, and sometimes it just filters into the show. I can't believe I have the sun in my face like this. Oh, come on, Red. Okay, so I'm going to your statement number 2, Laura, and this is about your writing, but I want you to add to it. I'll read a little bit. I'd like you to add to it when you write and where you write. In other words, how, the process of writing. So Laura says, I love to write. I've published everything from articles in engineering journals to conference proceedings, nonprofit newsletters, my blog for 5 years, LinkedIn newsletter, social media posts. I write almost weekly a blog, a monthly LinkedIn newsletter, post 3 times a week on LinkedIn, 1 to 2 times on all my other Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Okay, that's a lot of writing. We want to know, what is the inspiration for what you write? And when and where? Do you write inside? Do you write outside? Do you write in the morning? Do you write in the afternoon? Give us the process of your creativity, and then we'll have Cynthia and Don if they want to say. Go ahead, Laura.
Okay, well, creativity brings on more creativity. I also did a collaborative book in there too. And where does it come from? Observation and expression. If you take a look at what somebody's all about, for me, it's communication. And I often, because I've had different types of experiences and careers, find things in there that can be turned in a certain way and presented to a whole different audience and make it more relevant again. And there have been times I brought in my corporate experience when I'm talking about acting or voiceover. I brought on lots of acting techniques when I talk about how to get better on camera itself. And I just find that sometimes I just get these ideas and it'll come at any point. I'll jot them down, but I mostly work inside, usually right here at my office and at my desk. Although sometimes I'll have my phone with me and I'll just jot some notes on the notes folder and pieces of paper, whatever it is, and then I'll put it together. I usually don't have a hard time coming up with something, and I guess I'm just lucky that way. I'm always finding something is at the tip of my tongue, the edge of my brain.
Tip of your tongue, edge of your brain. That's an interesting statement for creativity. What is always at? I think we all have those things. The question is, what do you do with them? Do you capture them? Do you log them? Any comments? Don, you want to say anything? Or Cynthia, do I see any fingers wiggling? Come on, do I see any fingers? Cynthia's got two fingers wiggling. Go ahead, Cynthia, you first. Go ahead, please. What do you have to say?
I love it about you, Laura. You're amazing. And I would like to ask, when did you know that you had this creativity for writing?
Great question, Laura.
I always had it. When I was a little kid, I was writing books and I was looking forward to having them published. And I always wanted to see my name in print. And I was about 3/4 of the way through one book, which was a time travel book because I love sci-fi. I remember I was 10 years old and I was telling my grandfather, and he said, well, I'll pay you $10 if you let me read it.
Yeah.
Immediately, self-judgment. I'm only a kid. He's just trying to make fun of me. And I threw it away, which I regret. Because I would write by hand in teeny tiny handwriting, and I just loved it. So that's just part of who I've always been.
Cynthia, that was a great question. Don, anything you want to say to Laura?
I agree with capturing the thought. When you first think of something, it's a funny story or something, just jot down a note to yourself or on your phone in the notes, something, and I'll go back later and then I'll start to build the story, the more detail, and then, like I said, put the reader there and what the situation was. And most of life is a series of life lessons we all learn from little kids through school and in our careers. And so that's what kind of gets me excited. My creativity is, what did I learn from the situation?
Yes.
Well, I have a lot of sticky notes here and some good pens, and I just ordered some markers with brush tips that you can make wide or small, narrow. And sometimes if something comes to me while I'm on the air, I'm doing about 7 shows a week now, and something comes to me and it's important, I'll just grab a lavender or a yellow one and a pen. I'll just write it down and leave it here on my desk. And then, of course, when I find pens I want to throw away, I use the back of it to scribble and see if they're still writing, and never mind. Anyway, great point, and that's a very interesting concept, Laura and Don and Cynthia, on what do we do with those little snippets of ideas. And what I do sometimes is I'll put it in my calendar, my Outlook calendar. I'll write a note to myself and I'll say, okay, tomorrow at 11 o'clock, I'm going to do this, and I make myself a little to-do list. It's just in the calendar. I will get a reminder from Outlook on my desktop and my phone, and it'll say 11 o'clock. Do this, do that. So that's how I sometimes, if I can put something off even for a little bit later. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. Thank you very much, Laura. That was a good provocative statement there. Let's go to Don. You've talked about several of the statements I was going to read, but I'm going to combine 2 of your others, Don, and that's good. That's all good. So Don says, writing is a process of documenting your creativity on paper. Okay. First, I put down ideas in an outline, and then I fill in the gaps. Then I write a first draft, get the main ideas, and then a couple more editing sessions before I'm ready to share it. Okay. That's a process. Well, let's just leave that one alone. Here's the next part that's, I think, part 2. Creativity requires discipline. Don says, I don't have any set schedule or amount of writing per day, per week, etc. Some days I just get in the right mood and let the writing flow. After that, it's a series of rereading the manuscript and tweaking it. I can subscribe to that. Don, tell us a little more about that, please. Go ahead. You can talk in reference to one of your books or something you've done. If you'd like to ground it in something, go ahead.
Well, that is. I do think it takes a discipline, and you have to kind of stick with whatever process works for you. Okay. And follow your passion, follow the things that are important to you, and try to express those to your audience, to your reader, whatever. And it's really, I never have had a set time that I do anything. I've always found it's easy for me to express myself in writing, which is really tough for some people. Just like you express yourself through poetry, just beautifully. So, you know, a lot of people can't write a poem if they had to, but you can write them all day long, and that is a gift. And so it's really, it's about how simple it all gets. I think, but the discipline is keeping the writing tight so that you don't go on and on and on about nebulous topics, but you just kind of stick to the story, which has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And, you know, it should just naturally kind of flow like that. So that, I guess that explains a little bit more.
Well, before I get Laura and Cynthia in here, I want to tell you that I joined an online poetry group, and I did have a collaborator on the introductory poems. I'll tell you about that when the show is over, so I don't take up too much time. But I joined an online poetry group at writersdigest.com. And what's interesting is I'm one of a group of writers. I will probably, I've had a couple of them on my show, but mostly I will never meet them. They're all reasonably English speaking as far as I can tell. Some days there are 30 or 40, some days there are more. We get a prompt every Wednesday morning early from a senior editor at Writer's Digest. His name is Robert Lee Brewer, Brewer. And the prompt comes on this website, which has the date and the number. They're up to something like 795. They've done this 795 times. And people start posting their poems, Don, on this web page. It's all free. You just need a password and an email to register. That's it. And I write in different formats. I've learned there are 126 formats of poetry. And we leave a thumbs up and comments for each other. And it has become a community. Now, here's the trick. Most of the year, it's just a prompt on Wednesday morning. Okay? But in April and November, it's a PAD, poem a day. He leaves a prompt every damn day of the day, every day for the entire month of April and the entire month of November. I am so psyched those months that I typically write 5 or 8 poems a day for the whole month for April and November. And when it's just a regular Wednesday, like we're in now until November, and everybody's saying, when is it going to be November? I usually write 3 or 4 poems. And that's when it really, really flows. And if any of you want to have the website, I'll be happy to send it to you. It's a no judgment zone. And people write, some of them write political. I don't do that, but I think I'm the class clown. And I usually write humorous. And I right now have the saga of Timmy, who was on a date with Sweet Susie. And Sweet Susie got a little too fooling around, and she moved the mirror, and Timmy was driving home to say something to his family, and he crashed Dad's T-Bird into the garage door, and Dad took away the keys. And now I have the whole saga of Susie, who's now called Susie Doozy, and Timmy, who the Timmy fan club is now driving him around for the rest of the summer, and he's taking anger lessons and all of that. So I have a whole saga, and those are called my broken limericks. I call them lim-er-wreck in honor of the car. And every week, and I do acrostics. And before we end the show, I'm going to read you one of my acrostics about creativity. I think you'll enjoy it. You bring up the word poetry, and I go with that. Cynthia, anything you want to say to Don or Laura? Anybody? Laura, go ahead.
I just want to say I totally agree with you, Don, there. I mean, creativity can't be forced. When the time is right, it will come forth, and you just have to get it ready. And however you prime the pump, I mean, oftentimes it's when you're relaxed or when you're having fun or when you're playing. And I would just love to know, do you do any of those things, or are you just naturally there and it just manifests for you?
I agree.
I guess, yes.
It just naturally manifests on anything. I want to read while we're on that topic. Cynthia, just hold on for a second. Sure. Don wrote Letters to Mom, Marine Corps Boot Camp Flight School, Vietnam. He wrote Life Lessons Learned in Grade School Part 1. He wrote Life Lessons Learned in Grade School Part 2, Crazy and Hilarious Adventures of a Young Boy Growing Up in America. Book number 3 was called Star Bench Warmers. Married to his first wife for 23 years. She passed away at 46. A story of her battle. Okay. And he wrote it for his children as a Christmas present. And his 5th book is Teachings from Pop, A Boomer's Journey and Stories That Bind Us, about his hometown of Iowa Falls, Iowa. Don, that's why I asked you to tell me about your books, because I really wanted to know your subject. So I hope you don't mind that I read those. But Cynthia, anything you want to say to Don before we move on?
I do. I want to say, Don, that is amazing. It just shows me, just like Laura, actually myself, and I bet when we get to know more about akaRed, that a lot of these things start in our childhood. A lot of things that we have done and what was driving us that, sometimes can be interrupted by life, is the things that we're doing now or have done. And I just want to say congratulations to you. And are you excited on where you are now?
There are more to come.
I think you just got the answer.
Oh, I did.
Don, is there a sixth book? Is there? Go ahead.
Anyway, that was a 4-book series. Life lessons learned in junior high and high school are coming next. And I'm releasing the audio books, about one a year. And I've been working on a novel for years and years. And
me too. Mine's almost done. Yes.
Really? I've been working on it for years.
I've been working on mine for about 3 years, and I'm tired of telling people I'm working on it, and it's time to wrap it up and do other things. And I do have a little book of my poetry. I created a chapbook, they call it, about 2 years ago, and it was called 30 Poems Hath April. And it's 30 poems from my first year with the group. And that April, I think it was 2023, and it's just lovely. I'll send it to you, 3 of you, if you'd like it. It's a PDF, and I'll be happy to send it. So let's go to Cynthia. Cynthia, you said some interesting creativity statements, and there's one I like the best, and I'm going to read that. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Cynthia wrote, I write better outside at the park, which I thought was very interesting. And she also says her hobbies are fishing, hiking, and mentoring. So let's leave mentoring off to the side. Let's talk about fishing and hiking. So creativity for you, you're singing, you're writing, everything you do. Do fishing and hiking have anything to do with ideas coming to you? And where were you writing? What kind of park were you at, Cynthia?
They were, and it's just a public park, but I'm an early riser, so I'm a runner too, actually. So I go out and I do my running, and I tell you, I get things just downloading in my mind, and I have learned to carry a little recorder or use my phone to voice what I'm thinking at the time. And it's amazing the things that you get when you're at a quiet time and it's first thing in the morning and your mind is fresh and renewed. And I just, that's where I get most of my plans and goals and just different things to write about and sing about.
Tell me about the fishing and hiking. Where do you go?
And I go to we have different fishing spots in Columbus. I can't tell you where some of them are because I catch some great catch there, and I might have to blindfold you before I let you see where I'm going, because every time I find these fantastic places to fish, somebody comes along or they build on it and I can no longer go there. So I don't have a lot of places to go anymore, but it gives me peace and I catch a lot of fish.
Okay, we got the end of the sad trombone. I didn't catch it in time. I got to dial it. Wait a minute. This earns here we go. Okay, thank you, trombone. That was for you. I love Jordan, our engineer today, said to me, get some sound effects already. And I have fun, but I have to remember to go to the music player and put them on and make sure they're play. And then the volume is up, but then the slider is working. Life is really tough. Okay, any comments back to Cynthia, Laura, or Don? Anything? Oh, Laura, go, please.
Yeah, I can tell that you get a lot of inspiration from nature. And I think that's where most people do find it. You know the right time of day that you shine and you're receptive to it. Me, I'm more of a night owl, but I totally get it. When I'm walking around, when I'm exercising, and when I'm doing anything, walking especially, it's just sort of like it bubbles up and we're just able to finally listen to what our soul's telling us. So good for you. And, we won't say a thing. There is, by the way, a theme between the 3 of us.
Okay.
We all have Ohio connections.
Oh, okay.
We do? What's my
Oh,
Ohio
not
connection?
you, Red. No, no,
Oh.
no, no. But Don went to OSU, Ohio State,
Yes.
and Cynthia's in Columbus, and I'm originally from Cleveland. And I'm going back there actually next month for my parents. So
Well, I think there's a lot of people in my community here in Tennessee who come from Ohio. So let's just say by third neighborhood or something like that. Yeah. Don, anything you want to say to Cynthia?
Well, it sounded to me like this is where she really can relax and relax her mind, out in nature. So I think that's you've kind of found your peaceful place, and that's when the ideas will flow, and that's when just
You said something key, Don. You said relax your mind.
Yes,
I don't think I've heard it put quite like that before.
That's good. Yeah.
Don, that was good. That was really good. Don said, what is she talking about? Relax your mind, Don. That was classic. That was better than classic. That was new. I like that. Yeah, when your mind is sometimes when your mind is just going, you're thinking so fast you can't keep track of it. But when you relax your mind, I think that's when you give space. Give space.
That's
to
good
the
too.
Ideas. I would like to read the three of you one of my poems. I didn't tell you, but I like to write acrostics, and I'm the etymology expert on the poetry site now. For example, last week the word was, I think the week before, the prompt was magic. So I looked up the etymology, the history of the word magic. Did it come from Latin and Old German and this? And I put magic, and then I put the whole history of the word, and then I write an acrostic by it's magic, ITSMAGIC. And the week before it was something like a journey, and so I looked up the etymology of the word journey, which probably has French for jour, meaning day. And so I do this every week, and people are like, do we really have to see that? Well, you read it if you want to read it, you know what I mean? But I'm the class clown, so I also tried to change my identity on the site because I dropped out for 2 months, and I'm using a different name now, and people figured out it was me, and so they're saying I'm using the name Lucy. People are coming back and saying, "Yeah, Red, that was good." I said, "No, I'm Lucy. I'm Lucy," and people say, "No, we're passing it around. That's really Red." So let me read you. I'd like to read you two poems, and I hope you'll appreciate this. The prompt was night shift. NIGHTSHIFT. And the day that they gave this to us, Robert gave it to us on Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. So a little over a year and a month ago. Now, I'm not going to put it on the screen, but I will emphasize when I'm writing the letter N, a word that starts with N, then I, then GHTSHIFT. Okay, I'll lean forward and give it a little emphasis and you'll hear it. If you see it, you would know that it goes down night shift. So never quite really at rest. It's the life of a creative. Going, gripping, gyrating, growling, growing, moaning, groaning. Highs and lows flowing on a mental Mobius strip. The days are the nights, are the days again. Shifting off and on, into and out of gear, hoping for unique brilliance even once. It's a calling, command, curse, roller coaster, finding eureka, euphoria amid frustration and fears. Thus is the life of the creative.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Yes.
What'd you think?
Love it.
I keep that one handy because it's one of my favorites. And then one day it was write a blank like blank acrostic. I write a blank like blank poem. So people were writing, friends like brothers. That would be something like something, or sun or ice cream like happiness, something like that. So you'd fill in the two blanks. So I wrote this following one, and this was a single word. Where did Cynthia go? Is she here?
I don't know.
Did she drop?
I'm here.
Your camera went off, dear. You want to bring it back on? We love to see you.
Where?
Your camera's just there. You are. Okay, we missed that beautiful background there. Okay. So this one is blank like blank. So the acrostic is BLANKLIKEBLANK, and it's just one word for each one. It's very silly. Believe in love always. Never kiss a leprechaun in a kayak. Every boat's like a nervous kangaroo.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah, it was.
It.
And that's what I like about acrostics, because you can just pick one word for each letter in the theme and just run it down the page and start adding words to it. until it's silly or it's sweet or it's whatever. We have just a couple minutes left. Let me go back and see if there's one more thing. Oh, I have a couple of quotes for you. This one, I think you'll all appreciate this. This was stated by Rapunzel, voiced by Mandy Moore. The movie was Tangled, 2010, gone back 15 years. Who could believe that? 3D, computer animated, musical adventure, fantasy, comedy film. Wow, that's a mouthful. Speaking of mouthfuls. And the line was, venture outside your comfort zone. The rewards are worth it. Can we all appreciate that? Yep. Yeah. That's why I saved it. Here's another one. This is from the Rolling Stones from 1969, and you'll know the song. You can't always get what you want, but if you try, you'll get what you need.
Yeah,
there you go.
Hey, I like
and
that.
I have one more from Glinda, the Good Witch of the North, played by Billy Burke. We're talking the 1939 fantasy film, The Wizard of Oz, the real one with Judy Garland. And the quote was, "You had the power all along, my dear."
Oh, I like that.
Didn't she say to Dorothy, click your heels? You had the power all along. Yeah. And a quote from the very interesting writer many years ago, Kurt Vonnegut. He says, go into the arts. I'm not kidding. The arts are not a way to make a living. They're a very human way of making life more bearable. Practicing an art, no matter how well or badly, is a way to make your soul grow, for heaven's sake. Sing in the shower. Dance to the radio. Dawn, tell stories. Write a poem to a friend, even a lousy poem. Do it as well as you possibly can. You will get an enormous reward. You will have created something. Isn't that interesting? And Kurt Vonnegut wrote 14 novels, 3 short story collections, 5 plays, 5 nonfictions, over 50 years, and even more was published after he passed away. Isn't that something?
Yes.
I thought that was interesting. We got 4 minutes left. Okay, somebody comes up to you, Laura first, 1 sentence, then Don, 1 sentence, then Cynthia. Somebody comes up to you and says, I'm not creative. I wouldn't know what to do, how to write or how to sing or how to paint or how to cook pasta or anything. What would you tell them to find their special creativity? Laura, I know this is impromptu, but what would your advice be?
Remember what you loved most as a child and do it.
Ooh, loved most. Don, what advice would you give?
I would just say, just love every day that you have and find something that gives you joy in that day, every day if you can, whatever that is.
I like that. Cynthia, what would you say?
Try it. You might like it.
Oh, that's a really good one. Okay, we have time for 2 more minutes, so let me see what I can fill the time with. Okay, Laura, what are some of your favorite voiceover roles you've done? Are you allowed to tell us?
Yeah, I'll tell you the ones that I've already done. Well, I loved a voiceover I did for Tyler Perry Studios a couple times. And then one time I played a talking goldfish that was the reincarnated mother of its owner. And all I can tell you is she was not the nicest person and there was a toilet flush involved.
Uh-oh.
Give us another one. Since none of us are in the voiceover business, give us another favorite one. I'm watching the clock. I'm going to take 1 more minute. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I just did a commercial for radio where it was one of these panoramic descriptions. And then a lone voice came through it. It's wearing your shoes. I was the voice, it throws you off. It's just
say it again, because we didn't get it on your microphone. Say it one more time. What was the line?
Oh, like, Morris, hey, where are your shoes? It was, you're expecting something very grand, and then you get this woman from wherever, It's just a comedy to throw you off.
And I'll give you a little voiceover here. I was in the supermarket, or I'm in Tennessee, and one day I couldn't find, they don't have a fresh fish counter. It's just packaged fish, but I couldn't find a certain package of salmon I was looking for. And I said to the gentleman behind the counter, who looked like he was in his 60s, he had white hair, about the color of Don's, beautiful silver, and he had a ponytail down his back, and he had a net on for safety, for cleanliness. And I said, excuse me, where's the such and such? He said, what can I help you with, lady? And I said, okay, where you from? And he said, I'm from New York. And I said, where in New York are you from? And he said, I'm from upstate. I said, well, you're not really from New York, because I'm from Queens, New York. And this is the way real New York people talk. You're just pretending to be from New York. And so I said, what do they call you? He said, well, they want to call me the Godfather, but I told them to call me by my name, Mark. So my friend Don was there, my neighbor, and he's from New York. I said, Don, come over here. Mark is pretending to be a New Yorker. Are we going to let him get away with that? And every time I go in the store, I never talk like that, and I never did. Every time I go in the store, if Mark's there, I say, "Hey, how are you?" And he says, "I'm doing good. How are you, lady?" And so that's my voiceover experience. Okay. Oh, we have to go. Okay, so let me read the closing now. I was filling here. Okay. In 2014, this is for Cynthia and Laura, I closed my show with the top 10 tips for women. And the first one was the 2014, aspire to be Barbie. The biatch has everything. Okay. That was 10 years before the movie. I wanted you to know. Here's the real closing. Dawn, it's okay. You could open your eyes now. Life is short. Life is short. Break the rules. Forgive quickly. I still haven't learned that. Kiss slowly. Oh, yes. Love truly. We know that. Laugh uncontrollably. Everybody laugh with me. 1, 2, 3. Don, force yourself. And never, ever, ever regret anything that made you smile. Final closing. Work like you don't need the money. Some of us do, some of us don't, but work like you don't. Dance like no one's watching. When I taught disco in high heels on a cafeteria table in a high school in Eugene, Oregon, and I didn't fall off the table, but everybody watched and I never fell. I made them give me a platform the next week. It was terrible. Sing like no, $3.23 an hour. My partner got the $5 because he booked the course. Sing like nobody's listening and love like you've never been hurt. We all have. Let your heart grow, regrow, regroup, and learn to love again. Money talks, chocolate sings, la. And last but not least, I stole this line from another host, Laura, about 20 years ago. Thank you for turning me on. Let's go out with the music now. If I can find my music player, and let's see where we go. Here, closing.
On Read My Lips Radio, producer and host, aka Radio Red, invites you to eavesdrop on her live, unscripted conversations with smart, savvy, creative people as she discovers what makes them tick, where they find their inspiration, when creativity first became their passion, and how their creative process can inspire the rest of us to think out of the box. Enjoy, aka Radio Red's always lively, cool conversations with creatives. Oh, how those lips can talk.
Thank you very much. Wave goodbye to social. Wave goodbye. That was another show coming on. Bye, social. Go on.